What is your path to Dharma?
Here we are once again, Path to Dharma. Shannon and Shay here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been nuts. That's all. And we're so
But
grateful. We're
good.
so grateful for it though. Everything is good.
I know.
Everything's
I think I've said it like a bunch of times, but just this like need to integrate. So much has been happening in our lives, and this just and being in like a big transition.
yeah.
While I want to stay rooted in the word of Krishna and the word of the divine literature and text, I am like
Yeah.
throughout my life. Currently, I'm going back to what we've already read and reminding myself of those lessons and stories and whatnot. So I don't think there's any need to apologize. We're here
Yeah.
and we're reading and we're on our path to Dharma. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're glad you're here to join us. Shall we begin with small obeisances?
yes.
Let's.
Before
Mm.
reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one must first offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasudev, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering a service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Hare Krishna. All right. Beautiful, Shay. Beautiful. You're frozen. You're frozen on my side. Are you there? I hope you come back. You froze in a beautiful spot. You froze
Oh,
like saying
yeah.
you froze like this. It was perfect,
Oh,
actually.
I was wondering if it was me or if it was you.
Well, I can probably edit it out. We'll see.
Oh, we're freezing again.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I don't
It's
know.
that Uranus energy. That's what I was talking about. Can I indulge us in a little astrology right now? We're having this
Please,
conjunction
yes.
of Mars and Uranus, and it's been nutty. Just wild things. Uranus is, electric, and Mars is, Mars, right? So it's like
Yeah.
action, it's intensity, it's, you know,
Yeah.
some say a malefic energy, but I don't like to think of Mars that way. Mars is what drives us forward in our purpose too. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's Mars that makes us move. That Mars energy. Mars doesn't do
Right.
anything to us. It's like a indicator of what an energy is available to us in that moment. And that's the
So
language we're putting around it.
So if we're thinking about the gunas, it would be more rajas.
Yes. 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 Clashing, not clashing, but like meeting up with just this energy of anything can happen. A
Right.
disruptive, rebellious energy. I mean, I
Yeah.
personally am fighting the forces of darkness. It's wild. Like I'm very clear about what's happening in my life, the power I'm up against, but metaphysically, I'm up against the powers of darkness. It's like, see, I can't even say it. It's like,
Uh-huh.
um, so I've been just deep in spiritual practice, deep, 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 because it's almost feeling like an alchemical process, if that makes
Mm.
sense, where the pressure is starting to build. And what does the
Mm-hmm.
pressure do? Is it refines you, right? How are diamonds made?
Right.
It's the pressure.
Under pressure.
So I feel it, but also I think about Krishna holding up Govardhan Hill with his finger.
Uh-huh.
I think about the goddess Kali taking out
Mm-hmm.
an entire army of demons. I know that Krishna is here with me and I can do anything with him. And I know the goddess has me. And so,
Yeah.
hence, I'm able to allow this process to happen, but that doesn't mean it's not intense in
Right.
moments,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
I'm so grateful for all of this because I don't know what I would do if we weren't doing this, where I would
Same.
be. So
Same.
here we are. This is a new book we're starting. I'm really excited. So we are on the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam Part 2. of the
Part
third
two.
canto. So I have barely just cracked it open a little. I haven't even looked at the pictures yet, which
I
I
haven't either.
love looking at the
Same.
pictures. And let's check out a little bit of what this book is about. Our first chapter is called, let's see that, The Victory of Hiranyaksa over all the directions of the universe. Ooh,
Ooh.
that sounds really good. Okay.
It looks like the pictures come um like
Yeah.
halfway
Okay,
in
so
that
like here's
first
the yeah,
chapter.
because like here's a picture.
Hiranyaksa.
Right, there's Lord Boar fighting him. We're gonna read about that. I love a battle for some reason. Freaking love a good battle.
Yeah, you do. You always have.
Yeah.
The pictures are just so gorgeous.
Wow.
Look
Seeking
at
to
that
please
big tuck.
Devahuti, Kardama Muni employed his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel anywhere at his will. That is badass. Wow. I can't wait to read that story. Okay, well, should we start reading? I mean, it's so good. It's
Yes.
so good. I'm every bit of obsessed with it. I have been reading back a little bit. I was into Canto 1. I sent you some stuff the other day out of Canto 1. You know,
Yes.
Sri Narada never fails to inspire me. And what he said to the sages in chapter 13, Canto 1, talking about um, the divine will of Krishna, bringing people together and separating them. So I have no need to worry about anything. Um,
Exactly.
and I feel this crazy Mahabharata epic thing happening in my life parallel to kind of what we're reading. It's wild a little bit. All these
Yeah.
major events. I just want to point out I make my battle axe earrings. I don't know if you can see them. I found these the other day and I was like, perfection. Okay.
Wait, wait,
Sorry
wait.
to
Look
be
at this.
distracted.
Look,
I'm all over
wait,
the place today.
wait. Look at this adorable.
Oh, wow. Baby Krishna. You gotta love baby
Adorable.
Krishna. You gotta love
Sucking his
baby.
own toe on his
So
lotus feet.
sweet.
Oh, with the
Well,
little feather in his
yeah.
hair.
I know. I want a baby
Oh,
picture. I want a baby Krishna picture. I've started to draw one.
so
Um,
sweet. Yeah,
but
if you noticed our community post, we are recording this on July 17th.
yes.
We usually actually upload on Wednesdays, and we just didn't, no real
Yeah.
reason. But I put a community post out just to let everybody know that our recording will be posted tomorrow on July 18th Eastern time. Um,
Yeah.
but the picture that I uploaded with is a drawing of Krishna that my mom did. And so you can admire and love on that. I think it's quite beautiful. I'd love one for my own. Maybe I should make my own probably, but also feel free to draw me as many Krishnas as you'd like for my
Yeah.
walls.
It's like I download it and I try to create it, and it's not even I can't even really capture as good as it is in my head. Wish I
Right.
was a better artist.
I'm sure everybody who draws Krishna, period, probably feels that way,
Yeah,
right?
you can't.
Having an image and then it just doesn't come out quite. I mean, how could you
His
encapsulate
beauty is too
Krishna?
much, right? His
Right.
beauty is too much to really capture. Just even
Right.
reading about his beauty, we've been reading it and just his glorious glory. Okay, let's get
All
into
right.
this chapter 1 here. And
And
actually,
actually,
it's not chapter 1, it's chapter 17, it
I was just
says.
about to say that. Yep. It's just
Okay.
a continuation
Yep.
of Canto. So here we go. Srimad Bhagavatam, third Canto, part 2, chapter 17, Victory of Hiranyaksa.
Hiranyaksa.
Hiranyaksa over all directions of the universe. Text 1. Go ahead. You begin.
Sri Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of the higher planets, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of darkness explained by Brahma, who was born from Vishnu. Thus, they all returned to their respective planets. Wait, we need a recap.
Yeah,
Wait a
yeah.
second.
I'm like, what even happened
Wait,
in
what
chapter
even happened
16?
last time? Wait.
Do you
Okay,
have
so
part 1 next to?
was that the thing where the two guards, remember the sages showed up to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um uh the kingdom where Vishnu lives. I can't say the name of it.
Yes.
Okay, something
Yes.
loca. Okay, anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, they stopped him, and the sages was like, why you have guards here? You're making Vishnu look bad. And then they were like sent to Earth to
Yes.
be someone in our comments said thank you. 3 lifetimes of being an enemy. So they could hurry up and get back to Vishnu.
Right.
So I think that's what it's talking about. So the gods are hanging around heaven or whatever. I'm going to call it heaven. And then they see or sense this darkness and they're like, ah, what's up? And then pretty much once it's been explained by Brahma, they
Right.
return to their respective planet. Okay, that's what's up. We know what's up.
Okay. Can you reread that one again now that I have like the context and the picture in my head?
Yes, remember my tray is sitting there talking to, I want to say Vidura.
I don't
Oh
know, but he's
man.
talking to some. I know there's
That's everyone.
it's the story and the story and the story.
It
It's
is. It
but
is. I
okay, just
forget
read.
who he's talking to. But Sri Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of the higher planets, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of darkness explained by Brahma, who was born from Vishnu. Thus, they all returned to their respective planets.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, and DT is the one who's going to be pregnant with the twins.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes, yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
Text 2. The virtuous lady DT had been very apprehensive of trouble to the gods from the children in her womb, and her husband predicted the same. She brought forth twin sons after a
That's
full
right.
100 years of pregnancy. And remember, she was holding on to the sperm for all that
Right.
time, and then
Yes,
that
yes,
incident happened. And
yes.
what is the name of that planet? It's like
Viralo
literally,
Viraloka?
it's a V. It is. It's not Vera
Or
Loca, but
it's not.
maybe it'll pop back
Maybe
up
you should
here.
look it up while I'm reading. If it's gonna bug us.
I don't
I'm gonna
have
go
the
on.
other, I don't have Canto Part 1 beside me.
Yeah, I don't either. So someone's gonna write it in the comments, please. Okay, text 3. On the birth of the 2 demons, there were many natural disturbances, all very fearful and wonderful in the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and in between them. Wow. Fearful and wonderful. It's an amazing phrase. I feel like you're looking
See,
for it,
I
still.
am, so you're gonna have to reread that because
Wait,
I'm
there's
just
a
like not.
content, there's like an index, remember? There's like an
Oh yeah,
index and there's like a glossary
and it's not even popping up.
in the back of the book itself.
Yeah, that's where we actually need to go.
That's where I'm looking.
What is it?
I mean, go grab the other book.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, it's
Of course.
Vaikuntha. Can you not hear me right now? No, she doesn't have her head. See, this is what happens.
Oh,
And then you're like,
I
go
don't
clean your
know.
room. And they're like, I don't know. It's
Oh,
Vaikuntha.
I can't even hear you. Okay, go ahead. What do you
Yeah,
say?
it's Vaikuntha. And I found it
Like,
like right, like as soon as you sat down, I've been trying to tell you, but you didn't put your headphones on.
oh well, wow. All right, all right.
Someone count how
Text.
many times did I tell Shade if it was Vaikuntha? Yeah. Okay, back to the story.
I didn't even look at the. I didn't even look at the screen. Okay, can you read text 3 once more?
Yes. Okay. The gods are hanging out in Vaikuntha. Okay.
Actually, they just left, right? They went to their
They went to
perspective
their
planets.
respective planets. Okay.
Yes.
Text 3. On the birth of the 2 demons, there were many natural disturbances, all very fearful and wonderful in the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and in between them.
There were earthquakes along the mountains on the earth, and it appeared that was fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared, along with
Ah,
comets, meteors, and thunderbolts.
yep. I mean, Saturn does get that rap, I will say. I like to think of Saturn as the crone, the
Hmm.
wisdom, energy. Okay, anyway, that's a side note. Text 5. There blew winds which were most uninviting to the touch, hissing again and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their ensigns. Wow, what a cool picture there. Okay, so major disturbances on the planets.
I really like that image of the storms. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their inside. Like, that is such a, I never really thought of it like that, but
Very cool.
yeah. Okay. Text 6. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds, in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen.
The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered.
Mm. Misty halos appeared around the sun and the moon during solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of thunder were heard even without clouds, and sounds like those of rattling chariots emerged from the mountain caves.
In the interior, sorry. In the interior of the villages, she-jackals yelled portentously, vomiting strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owls also joined them with their cries.
Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing and now of wailing.
Wow. Oh, Vidura. I was right. It was Vidura. Oh, Vidura. The asses ran hither and thither in herds, striking the earth with their hard hooves and wildly braying.
Frightened by the braying of the asses, birds flew shrieking from their nests, while cattle in the cowsheds, as well as the woods, passed dung and urine.
Cla- Cows, terrified, yielded blood in place of milk.
Oh,
Clouds rained pus. The images of the gods in the temples shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind.
my
Yikes.
goodness.
Oh, wow.
Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone
Yep.
brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones such as Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, as well as a number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with one another.
The planets came in conflict with one another. I lost you a little bit at the end there, so I just wanted to say that. And there's a much discussion about the astrology of some of these events, even the astrology of the Mahabharata. It's very interesting when they're talking about the conjunctions of the planets and Mars and Saturn, like shining brighter. And you can go back in history because we have really cool computer models now where you can look at the sky, keep going back, thousands and thousands of years, and you can see when these things happened, and it's super cool when you start to know when they're talking about the planets in the astrology, they're referring to an astrological event that we can look it up,
Mm-hmm.
and it really
That is pretty
happened.
cool.
Okay.
Text 15.
Text
Go
15.
ahead. It's your turn, I think.
Marking these and many other omens of evil times, everyone but the four sage sons of Brahma, who were aware of the fall of Jaya and Vijaya, and of their birth as Diti's sons, were seized with fear. Was seized
Hmm.
with fear. They did not know the secrets of these portents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand.
I bet
Yeah,
so.
sure. They're like, this is it. This is
It's
the
raining
end.
pus.
It's
The
raining.
the
Hey,
I know the
trees
cows are giving blood instead of
falling
milk.
over, just everything. Yeah.
Text 16. These two demons who appeared in ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which
Wow.
began to grow just like two great mountains.
Yikes. Their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crests of their gold crowns. They blocked the view of all directions, and while walking, shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waists, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Wow. So
Wow.
these massive giants appear. How terrifying is that? Sound, right? For the inhabitants of Earth. Yikes.
Right.
Yikes. Okay.
Kasyapa Prajapati, the creator of living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksa, and the one who was first conceived by Diti he named Hiranyakasipu.
Hiranyakashipu. Yeah. Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakasipu.
The elder child, Hiranyakashipu, was unafraid of death from anyone within the three worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to his benediction and was able to bring all three planetary systems under his control.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. His younger brother, Hiranyaksa, was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksa took a club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit just to satisfy his brother.
Wow. Amazing. I love that I wore an axe today. I have axe earrings today.
Club,
Um,
yeah.
Hiranyak's
Well,
is what?
okay,
Not a
continue.
club, but
Yeah, yeah.
Hiranyaksha's temper was difficult to control. He had anklets of gold tinkling about his feet. He was adorned with a gigantic garland, and he rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders.
His mental and bodily strength, as well as the boon conferred upon him, made him proud. Had made him proud. He feared death at the hands of no one, and there was no one checking him. And there was no checking him. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm going to start over. His mental and bodily strength, as well as the boon conferred upon him, made him proud. He feared death at the hand of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods, therefore, were seized with fear at his very sight, and they hid themselves, even as snakes hid themselves for fear of Garuda.
Wow. On not finding Indra and the other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his might, roared loudly.
Hmm.
Everyone flees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon, who was like an elephant in wrath, for the sake of sport, dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly.
On entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who formed the host of Varuna were stricken with fear and ran away. Thus, Hiranyaksa showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Right, just by showing up.
Right. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty
Wow.
Hiranyaksa smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna.
Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There, Hiranyaksa fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said with a smile, "Give me a battle, O Supreme Lord." Wow.
Wow.
Holy.
Wow.
Well, he's not afraid of anything. Apparently, nothing.
You are the guardian of an entire sphere and a ruler of wide fame. Having crushed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord.
Thus, mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful lord of the waters waxed and angry. But by dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him, and he replied, "O dear one, we have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old to combat."
You are so skilled in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention with praise.
Karuna continued, "On reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once, and you will lie down on the field of battle, surrounded by dogs, for eternal sleep. It is in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you, and to show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha." Wow. Okay, that ends chapter 17. Do we want to do another chapter? The battle between
Yes.
Lord Boar and the demon Hiranyaksa. Yes, please.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
please.
yes, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Chapter 18, text 1. Maitreya continued. The proud and falsely glorious Ditya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. Oh dear Varuna, he learned from
Or dear
Narada.
Vidura.
Oh dear Vidura, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and hurriedly betook himself to the depths of the ocean.
He saw there the all powerful personality of Godhead in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upward on the ends of his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. The demon laughed. Oh, and and amphibious beast. Why can't I say amphibious? Oh, and
Whatever.
amphibious beast.
The demon addressed the Lord. O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower region, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me.
You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. Oh, fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you.
The demon
Blam.
continued. I know, you love a battle scene. We already said that, but my whole life, it's like my whole life, you loved battles. The demon continued. When you fall dead with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms, the demigods and sages who offer you oblations and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist like trees without roots.
This is what they mean by when they're like, don't tempt the Lord thy God, meaning like, don't call out God.
Yeah.
I suspect it's not going to be good for Hiranyaksa. Well, we already know. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain. But seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusks was frightened, he rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an
Mm.
alligator. There's a scene. I love the visuals. So good.
The demon, who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks, gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures."
The Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of the ability to float on the water. While the enemies stood looking on, Brahma, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and other demigods rained flowers on him. So he's like, wait a
Whoa.
second, let me put the earth down.
Yeah, uh-huh. The demon, who had a wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body, chased the Lord from behind with great mace. The Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger.
The personality of Godhead said, indeed, we are creatures of the jungle and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. I, one who is freed from the entanglement of death has no fear from the loose talk in which you are indulging, for you are bound up by the laws of death.
Certainly, we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatala and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time because, having created an enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go.
You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. Wow.
Sri Maitreya said, "The demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra."
Hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace.
The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death.
The personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again and began to repeatedly brandish it about.
Then with his mace the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Verdura, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace.
In this way, the demon Hiranyaksa and the Lord, the personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. Wow. This is just so good. I'm just like stuck in the scene.
There
Wow.
was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blow of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow.
Wow. O descendant of Kuru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of the universe, accompanied by his followers, came to see the terrible fight for the sake of the world between the demon and the personality of Godhead, who appeared in the form of a boar. Heck
Af-
yeah, they came to
yeah.
watch.
After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of thousands of sages and transcendentalists, saw the demon who had attained such unprecedented power that no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayana, who was assuming the form of a boar for the first time.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, the demon has proved to be a constant pinprick to the demigods, the Brahmanas, the cows, and innocent persons who are spotless and always dependent upon worshiping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose."
Lord Brahma continued, "My dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine demon, who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and is arrogant, self sufficient, and most wicked."
Brahma continued, "My dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demonic hour arrives and he presents another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt."
My lord, the darkest evening which covers the world is fast approaching. Since you are the soul of all souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods.
The auspicious period known as Abhijit, which is the most opportune for victory, commenced at midday and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose of this formidable foe quickly.
This demon, luckily for us, has come of his own accord to you, his death ordained by you. Therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the worlds in peace.
Aye. Chapter
Which
19 is the
we
killing.
all yeah, can we read chapter
Yeah,
19?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to.
And
We
we
can't.
already know that he's being killed by the Lord. Like
Right.
that was already foretold.
Yeah, it was already foretold. Okay, so text one, the killing, chapter 19, Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Maitreya said, after hearing the words of Brahma, the creator, which were free from all sinful purposes and as sweet as nectar, the Lord heartily laughed and accepted his prayer with a glance laden with love.
Mhm.
I love that.
The Lord, who had appeared from the nostril of Brahma, sprang and aimed his mace at the chin of his enemy, the Hiranyaksa demon, who was stalking fearlessly before him.
Struck by the demon's mace, however, the Lord's mace slipped from his hand and looked splendid as it fell down whirling. This was miraculous, for the mace was blazing wonderful. Wow.
Even though the demon had an excellent opportunity to strike his unarmed foe without obstruction, he respected the law of single combat,
Ah,
thereby kindling the fury of the Supreme Lord.
interesting. As the Lord's mace fell to the ground, a cry of alarm arose from the witnessing crowd of gods and rishis. The personality of Godhead acknowledged the demon's love of righteousness and therefore invoked his Sudarsana discus. Wow. Okay. That's wild. That's just wild. What just happened? So he like drops the mace Everybody's like, oh, the crowd is like reacts.
Yeah.
And he acknowledges the demon's love of righteousness and he invokes his disc.
Eee. As the discus began to revolve in the Lord's hand, and the Lord contended at close quarters with the chief of his Vakunta attendants, who had been born as Hiranyaksa, a vile son of Diti, there issued from every direction strange expressions uttered by those who were witnessing from airplanes. They had no knowledge of the Lord's reality, and they cried, "May victory attend you! Pray dispatch him. Play no more with him."
Wow, this scene gets even more amazing. There's people in planes. Sorry,
Of
not
course,
people. There's gods in planes. Okay. All right. When the
watching.
demon saw the personality of Godhead, who had eyes just like lotus petals, standing in a position before him, armed with his Sudarsana discus, his senses were overpowered by indignation. He began to hiss like a serpent and he bit his lip in great resentment. Wow. Wow.
The demon, who had fearful tusks, stared at the personality of Godhead as though to burn him. Springing into the air, he aimed his mace at the Lord, exclaiming at the same time, "You are slain."
O saintly Vidura, while his enemy looked on, the Lord in his boar form, the enjoyer of all sacrificial offerings, playfully knocked down the mace with his left foot, even as it came upon him with the force of a tempest. Wow.
The Lord then said, "Take up your weapon and try again, eager as you are to conquer me." Challenged in these words, the demon aimed his mace at the Lord and once more loudly roared.
When the Lord saw the mace flying toward him, he stood firmly where he was and caught it with the same ease as Garuda, the king of birds, would seize a serpent. He just
His
catches it.
his valor thus frustrated. His valor thus frustrated, the great demon felt humiliated and was put out of countenance. He was reluctant to take back the
Yeah.
mace when it was offered by the personality of Godhead.
Right. Because why? Because he knows he can't kill him now. He now took a trident,
Hmm.
which was as rapacious as a flaming fire, and hurled it against the Lord. Okay, so he's like, maybe just not the mace. I'm going to try something else. Okay, a trident. He hurled it against the Lord, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, even as one would use penance for a malevolent purpose against a holy Brahmana. Wow.
Hurled by the mighty demon with all his strength, the flying trident shone brightly in the sky. The personality of Godhead, however, tore it to pieces with his discus Sudarsana,
Yeah.
which had a sharp edged rim, even as Indra cut off a wing of Garuda.
Yeah. The demon was enraged when his trident was cut to pieces by the discus of the personality of Godhead. He therefore advanced toward the Lord and, shrieking aloud, struck his hard fist against the Lord's broad chest, which bore the mark of Svirsata. No, Srivasta.
Hmm.
Srivatsa.
Hmm.
Srivatsa. Got it. Srivatsa. Sorry. Then he went out of sight.
Okay, wait. The demon was enraged when his trident was cut into pieces. He therefore advanced towards the Lord,
Yep.
roaring aloud, struck his fist against the Lord's chest.
Which bore the
Then
mark
he
of
went out of sight.
Srivatsa. Srivatsa is a curl of white hair on the chest of the Lord, which is a special sign of his being the Lord. Okay, go
Okay.
go ahead.
Hit in this manner by the demon Ovador, the Lord, who had appeared as the first boar, did not feel the least quaking in any part of his body, any more than an elephant would when
Wow.
struck with a wreath of flowers.
It's like that one time when I took that self-defense class and they taught me how to flip somebody. And then I came home to my husband, Dennis, and I was like, here, come here, I'm gonna flip you. And I went to like do it, and he was like a mountain. He like literally didn't budge.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, maybe not.
Yep,
um,
yep.
the demon, however, employed many conjuring tricks against the personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of Yogamaya. At the sight of at the sight of this, the people were filled with alarm and thought that the dissolution of the universe was near. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Oh my gosh, they're like everything's about to go. That's it.
Fierce winds began to blow from all directions, spreading darkness occasioned by dust and hailstorms. Stones came in volleys from every corner, as
Wow.
if thrown by machine guns.
The luminaries in outer space dispersed due to the sky being
Disappeared.
disappeared due to the skies being overcast with masses of clouds, which were accompanied by lightning and thunder. The sky rained pus, hair, blood, stool, urine, and bones. Wow. Yikes.
O sinless Vidura, mountains discharged weapons of various kinds, and naked demonesses, armed with tridents, appeared with their hair hanging loose.
Wow. Just all everything coming out.
Yeah.
Cruel and savage slogans were uttered by hosts of ruffian yaksas and rakyasas, who all either marched on foot or rode on horses, elephants, or chariots. Wow. Cruel and savage slogans were uttered.
The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now discharged his beloved Sudarsana, which was capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demon.
Oh, my eyes are just like watering for some reason. It's crazy. I don't know why. Excuse me. At that very moment, a shudder suddenly ran through the heart of Diti, the mother of Hiranyaksa. She recalled the words of her husband, Kasyapa, and blood flowed from her breasts.
When the demon saw his magic forces dispelled, he once again came into the presence of the personality of Godhead, Kasava, and full of rage, tried to embrace him within his arms to crush him. But to his great amazement, he found the Lord standing outside the circle of his arms.
The demon now began to strike the Lord with his hard fists, but Lord Adyaks, uh, my eye is going nuts. Lord Adhoksaja slapped him in the root of the ear. Wait, slapped him in the root of the ear, even as Indra, the lord of the Maruts, hit the demon Vitra. Wow.
Though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to wheel. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets, his arms and legs broken, and the hair on his head scattered. He
Yikes.
fell down dead,
Oh,
like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind.
that's
Wait,
it.
okay, yeah,
That's
dead.
it. He died. His arm,
Mm-hmm.
everything, eyes bulged out, everything scattered. Wow.
Yep.
Dead. Aja, Brahma, and others arrived on the spot to see the fearfully tusked demon lying on the ground, biting his lip. The glow of his face was yet unfaded, and Brahma admiringly said, "Oh, who could meet such a blessed death?" I mean, honestly. Right?
Brahma continued. He was struck by a forefoot of the Lord, whom yogis,
Yeah,
seeking freedom from their unreal material bodies,
right.
meditate upon in seclusion and mystic trance. While gazing on his countenance, his crest jewel of Diti's sun has cast off his mortal coil.
These two
Died in the,
Go ahead.
he died in the presence of the Lord.
Yeah. Wow. At the hand of the Lord, no less.
And
These two personal assistants of the Supreme Lord, having been cursed, have been destined to take birth in demonic families. After a few such births, they will return to their own positions. Okay,
mm,
that's what, who said that
so,
in the comments? Someone said that in
yeah.
the comments. Yeah, okay.
The demigods addressed the Lord. All obeisances unto you. You are the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and you have assumed the form of a boar and pure goodness for the purpose of maintaining the world. Fortunately for us, this demon, who is a torment to the world, has been slain by you, and we too, O Lord, are now at ease in devotion to your lotus feet.
Sri Maitreya continued. After thus killing the most formidable demon Hiranyaksa, the Supreme Lord Hari, the origin of the boar species, returned to his own abode where there is always an uninterrupted festival.
Mm.
I love it. The Lord was praised by all the demigods, headed by Brahma.
Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, I have explained to you the personality of Godheads coming down as the first boar incarnation and killing in a great fight a demon of unprecedented prowess, as if he were just a plaything. This has been narrated by me as I heard it from my predecessor, spiritual master.
Sri Sutta Goswami continued. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going up a level of story now. My dear
Yeah.
Brahmana, Vidura, the great devotee of the Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of sage Kausa Kausarava Maitreya. Okay, by the sage Maitreya, and he was very pleased. Yeah.
So this even goes back
Wow.
to
Wow.
Canto 3, Part 1, when we hear of the incarnation of the boar.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, this is all related to that. Everything in between there and that was just like leading us up to
Wow.
this battle.
That
It
was amazing,
seems
by the way. That
it
was so
seems
good.
anyway. Yeah.
So good.
Okay, text 34.
Yeah.
What to speak of hearing the pastimes of the Lord, whose chest is marked with Srivatsya? People may take transcendental pleasure even in hearing of the works and deeds of the devotees, whose fame is immortal.
It's quite pleasurable to hear. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The personality of Godhead delivered the king of the elephants, who was attacked by an alligator and who meditated upon the lotus feet of the Lord. At that time, the female elephants who accompanied him were crying, and the Lord saved them from the impending danger.
What grateful soul is there who could not rend What grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as the personality of Godhead? The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection through the
Though,
righteousness. Oh, okay.
though the unrighteous man
Though the unrighteous man might finds it difficult to propitiate.
to propitiate him. Do that whole sentence.
Propitiate.
Right.
Okay. Restart of the sentence.
Jupiter's in
Text
Gemini.
30,
You
text
do it twice.
36.
Do everything twice.
What grateful soul is there who could not render his loving service to such a great master as the personality of Godhead? The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection, though the unrighteous man finds it difficult to propitiate,
Propitiate him. Propitiate him.
propitiate
All the
him.
words today are hard to say. O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of Hiranyaksa demon by the Lord, who appeared as the first boar in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana. What? Did we just right now just have some sins wiped away by reading that out loud? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Text 38. This most sacred narrative confers extraordinary merit, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the objects of one's desire. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens to it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the supreme abode of the Lord, O dear Sanaka.
Wow. So good. I love that. That's
Wow.
amazing. First of all, um, wow. What a beautiful battle. What a battle. And it's crazy. I was just
That
talking
was
about
so good.
battling darkness, and here I just saw that. I just saw
Ah!
darkness get wiped out by Lord Boar. I'm gonna literally think of that story. That
Oh.
is wow. I love everything so much.
Oh.
So, so much. Thank you,
So
Krishna.
good. Hare
Thank
Hare
you,
Hare
Vasa.
Krishna.
I love everything. Wow.
Yes.
This is okay. This was perfect. So next week we are going to keep going and keep reading, and we're so grateful you're here with us. I've been reading the Gita Press version of the Bhagavad Gita also, and I'm doing a chapter
Mm-hmm.
every Friday. So if you want to help our channel grow, please listen. Thank you so much for all of your lovely comments and likes and subscribes and all the things. We're so grateful for you.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
stay tuned for Krishna Fan Club. I'm about to look at
Yeah.
my calendar actually right now. Do we want to do the last Saturday of July?
We could.
That is the 27th. It's either this Saturday or that Saturday.
Yeah, let's do the 27th.
Okay.
Krishna
So
fan.
yeah, join us for probably what 7:30 a.m. We'll put something out to confirm time and whatnot, but you can expect July 27th to be Krishna Fan Club.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Shay. I love you.
I
I love
love you too.
everyone.
I love you all.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Till next time.